Stay informed, stay healthy, stay empowered. Topical discussions from nutrition, mental health to fitness to family planning and battling chronic illnesses with top professionals, expert advice, and practical solutions to today's most pressing health issues. We bring you the knowledge and tools to take control of your health. Only on Global. Obesity is a condition where persons has, or will I say, excessive amount of body fat that may harm their health. It usually occurs when the energy taken in form of food and drinks is greater than the energy used through physical activity and body functions. Now, common causes include poor diet, lack of exercise, genetics, and certain medical or emotional factors. Now, obesity increases the risk of serious health problems such as heart disease, high blood pressure, and some cancer. It can also affect mental health, leading to low self-esteem, depression, and social difficulties. Now, preventing and managing obesity involves adopting a balanced diet, engaging regular physical activity, and maintaining healthy lifestyle habits. Education, family support, and community programs also play a vital role in promoting healthy living and reducing obesity rates. Talking about healthy living, the challenges of obesity. Hello and welcome to Health Guide. I am Jumai Manson, and yes, from the preamble is all about the challenges of obesity. I am being joined by Dr. Matthew Osabohen Okon. He's a public health researcher, health content creator, member of WHO Fitness Network of Health Influencers, metabolic medicine practitioner. Health Guide continues shortly. Stay informed, stay healthy, stay empowered. You're welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, this is Health Guide on Global Television. And like I mentioned before, talking about the challenges of obesity. And for those of you wondering, have you ever wondered why you don't eat so much and yet you say to yourself you're obese? Well, Dr. Matthew Osabohe is here to break it down to us. Like I mentioned, he is a public health researcher. He's a health content creator. And of course, talking about health content creator, one of his videos will go up shortly in the course of the program. He's a member of WHO Fitness Network of Health Influencers, metabolic medicine practitioner. Dr. Osabohe, it's great to have you on the program. All right, it's great to have you. It's evening, by the way, but thank you for being a part of Health Guide. It's great to have you on the program.
Thank you. It's always nice being on this program with you.
Thank you so much. Now, what is obesity for the for individuals out there who are wondering that this is when someone is fat? When is someone tagged as obese, or what is obesity?
Okay. So obesity is just a word that is medically used to define a situation where somebody has excess fat accumulation in the body. That's just a simple layman's explanation of what obesity is. It is actually, so maybe in the course of the conversation, depending on how it goes, we can discuss more about that definition.
Okay. Now, looking at this very critically now, what are the main causes of obesity?
Obesity has a myriad of causes. Because I know there's a lot of misconception around, what obesity is and the causes. But I will say this, right? The foundation of obesity is how somebody has been formed. So by that, I mean your genetics is the very first place that will start from the gene that somebody has inherited from his or her parents, and then I would say the next is epigenetics. Epigenetics is just simply the changes that happen to your gene as a result of exposure to certain let me say pollutants, just for want of a better word for the sake of this conversation. Then from there we talk about the hormones. Then we talk about your metabolism. Then we talk about your socio-economic status. We talk about your environment. We talk about someone's psychosocial profile And then finally, we want to talk about your behavior. You see that I've taken time to list them out in a particular order.
Yes, you have.
In many literatures, you may not see that. What you may see may be genetics, environment, and a few other things. But I've taken time to list them out in a specific order because this is my personal preference of how I would like to list them in order of priority from my point of view.
Okay. You know what, Dr. Matthew Osabohen, you know what, before you explain to us just the way you've listed them out, let's quickly watch one of your videos that talks about obesity for viewers who are just tuning in right now, so they will understand what this means. So people that have a different mindset when it comes to being obese and all of that. Let's quickly look at this video, and then when you come back, just the way you itemize each and every one of them as a metabolic medicine practitioner, you will be explaining it to us one after the other. I hope that's okay.
That's fine.
All right. Now it's still Health Guide. Let's quickly watch one of Dr. Osabohen's health videos on obesity. Do not go anywhere. It's Health Guide. Stay tuned.
I meet people every week who whisper the same thing. Doctor, I don't even eat that much, so why am I still adding weight? And each time I smile because I understand that pain. Seeing how society makes you feel like your weight is your fault, like you just need to try harder. But here's the fact. Obesity is not just about food or laziness. It is a medical condition, a complex one shaped by your genes, your hormones, metabolism, and even your environment. And for too long, we have made people feel ashamed instead of supported. That's why my mission as an obesity specialist is to help you understand your body, move better, eat smarter, and take control of your health without any guilt, fear, or confusion. Whether you are struggling with joint pain from extra weight, or a mom trying to find energy after childbirth, or a banker who is tired of feeling sluggish after long work days, our mission is to guide you with real science, real strategies, and real results. Weight management is not about punishment, it's about partnership. It's not eat less and move more. It's understanding how your metabolism works, how your environment affects your choices, and how your body can heal when given the right support. When you work after meals, sleep well, or manage stress, you are not just losing weight, you are rebuilding your life one healthy habit at a time. So, if you have tried everything and feel like nothing is working, please know it is not your fault and it's not too late. Your journey just needs the right map. Everyone deserves to live pain-free, confident and full of energy, not judged for their weight, but supported in their wellness. So, let's work together to change the way we talk about obesity. Because, as we always say, your health is in your hands.
Stay informed, stay healthy, stay empowered.
It is Health Guide on Global Television, talking about obesity and, of course, the challenges of tackling it under healthy living. And, of course, Dr. Osabohen Matthew Okon is still here, and he's a metabolic medicine practitioner, and he's going to break it down to us. All right, Dr. Matthew, are you there?
Yes, please.
All right, so break it down to us as a metabolic medicine practitioner, the stages in which you mentioned when it comes to obesity.
Hello?
Hello, I'm with you. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I didn't hear you.
I said you broke it down to us stage by stage, what you mentioned when you said, before we went on that break.
Okay.
Yes, you listed out some very keen, important aspects of it. So please explain it to us bit by bit.
Okay, so it's been severally established by that the foundation of obesity is the kind of gene that you have inherited. There's the concept that we call a fetal programming, which is how babies in the womb of the mother, acquire characteristics that will affect their life or determine how the course of their health is going to be throughout life. So maybe for the viewers out there, you just need to know that as a pregnant woman, you need to take your health and your antenatal very seriously, because you are setting the foundation for how your child is going to turn out, in the long term. So having said that, there's been several studies that have shown that when you have two people from different parents and you expose them to the same environment, one becomes obese and the other does not. I know in this part of the world we do not do a lot of research. In the Western world where there's a lot of research, I have seen what you call siblings research, where they carry two people who were given birth to by the same parents, but were raised in different places. And when they expose them to this condition, you see that their weights tend to mirror that of their parents compared to the adopted parent. A twin, for example, and even if you raise them in two different places, their weights tend to be within 10% of each other, telling you that there's a lot of genetic influence that goes to. And that's not to say that genetics is one and only, but it lays the foundation. Every other things that happen depends on all the other factors that I have described earlier. But to suffice is to say the first thing first is the gene, all the changes that have happened to the gene that the individual inherited from the parents. So that is with genetics. So the next thing I listed was I talked about epigenetics. So they both go together because it's either you inherit a gene that functions differently, or for some reason the gene acquires a new characteristic by your exposure to certain things that makes it look differently. So genetics and epigenetics are the same thing. I'll talk about your hormones. Yeah, the hormones that you will have what we call the hormones for metabolism. Hormones that control hunger, hormones that control whether you are full or not, and they all function based on instruction from the gene that you may have inherited from your parents. And then metabolism, so they are all closely linked because your metabolic hormones closely determine or control how your metabolism works. Then we'll talk about, usually we talk about environment, but I put socioeconomic conditions first, because if you are up there, the tendencies that you are influenced in terms of social class, the tendencies that you are, to some extent, you'll be able to influence the environment. So how your environment affects people is the fact that if you live in a place where you have more access or easier access to junk, so you stay in a place where it is not safe or conducive for you to be physically active by way of people doing exercise. So that will affect how you want to behave at the end of the day, and in the long run affects how much energy you are able to use, and by extension, how much waste you are able to add. So the reason I put socioeconomic system before that is, if you are well-to-do to a large extent, the tendency is that you may be able to influence your environment such that you are now able to do other things that will help you to manage your weight if you so want to. So now we come to the environment proper, and of course I've described that as I was talking about the economic class. So if you are, just for emphasis, to stay in a place where you are not able to go out in the morning to jog or to walk around, or in the evening because of insecurity, or because they're just not, maybe the roads are not designed there are no walkways for you to be able to do that. Then you see those are issues. Or everywhere you turn, you see hamburger, you see shawarma, they are all beckoning at you. So those are issues, because these foods they are craftily designed in a way that it makes it hard for you to resist them.
Exactly.
So because there's a lot of research that goes into the processing of those fast food that we talk about, because they are designed to target what you call the reward center of the brain. So when you eat them, once you taste them, so you want to the satisfaction that you get from eating them want to make you to go back again and again and again and again. So that is it. So there's a lot of science that goes into the making of those fast food. So really.
Now, as a metabolic medicine practitioner now, how do you advise an individual to, control their weight when it comes to this particular pressure of seeing things like shawarma and all of that actually makes one obese? So how do you balance it, and at the same time, not being obese, but eating what you like, and at the same time just being in portion with your health?
Okay, so that is so in the line of treatments or management of someone who has obesity, there's a component that is called cognitive behavioral therapy. So, which is where you need to rewire the mind of the individual to help them to be able to, respond properly to those kind of we call them cues. To the cues to eat those kinds of food. It's not something that that is why if you see one of my videos, I say it's not about willpower. Why you need to make some conscious decision? It's usually because those food that targets the reward center of the brain, it becomes a tug of war, and usually the body will win if you decide to go that route. So, but if you are able to, there's what we call cognitive behavioral therapy, where you need to work on the individual to help them to rechannel or repurpose those negative influences, as we call it, into a more positive way, with respect to how you respond to those to the demand to eat those kind of food.
Now, looking at this critically, now, why is maintaining a healthy weight important when it comes to overall health? Why is it so important, really?
So, obesity itself is a precursor of 1,001 different things. Now, see what happens when you have excess. When you have excess fat accumulation. Usually where it becomes a problem is when you have fat accumulated around in your abdomen, around the organs of your abdomen. Now, what that does is that because of the fatty acid, now when those fat cells that are becoming more in number or are growing larger in number are accumulating fat that is not used. So when you eat food, so let me come back this way so people can follow. When you eat food, what happens is that your body breaks down the food into energy that it will use. Now, when you now don't make use of that energy, it is stored in two ways. One way is to store it as glycogen in your liver or in your muscle. For those are for quick use. It's for short-term storage. Now, those storages have they have a limit to what they can take. So once that storage is full, whatever energy that is left is now converted into fat for long-term storage. So that is why because if there is no other place to store them, it is to store it around your abdomen, around your abdominal organs. So which is what we refer to as abdominal fat or visceral fat. Now, when you break down the parts of the fat that is stored around your organs, we call them highly active because they are easily broken down. And when you break it down, you break it down into fatty acid. And this fatty acid interferes with the function of your liver. It interferes with how your muscles respond to breathing. By so doing, it interferes with how your body is able to use insulin, respond to insulin. So over time, what happens is that because your body is trying to compensate for the insulin not functioning, because it's not producing enough insulin, because your body is not responding properly because of the presence of those fatty acids. What now happens is that it begins to try to produce more insulin. And over time, you have what we call hyperinsulinemia, and then you develop insulin resistance. Now, insulin resistance is a precursor to diabetes, type 2 diabetes. And then from there, you develop what we call chronic low-grade inflammation. With chronic low-grade inflammation, you begin to form what we call atheromatous plaque, as the position of fatty cells or tissues or what we call plaque in your blood vessels. And then you develop what we call CV, cardiovascular disorders. Now, this, and then you come down with high blood pressure, and and so on and so forth. So the list just goes on and on and on and on. So most of the chronic ailments that we have around this have their root in excess fat accumulation, including musculoskeletal issues, arthritis and co.
Now, Dr. Matthew Osabon, as a health metabolic medicine practitioner now, what is the way forward in all of this? Because that is your own area that's a part of your specialty when it comes to tackling this, will I call it menace to the society called obesity. What would you advise, or what is the way forward? How do we nip this in the bud when it comes to our health? Because sometimes an individual might just say to his or herself, I am not even eating and I'm gaining so much weight. I have tried all the exercise. I have tried dieting. In fact, I eat in small portions. But yet the weight has refused to go away. So what do I do as a metabolic medicine practitioner? Please tell us.
Okay. So there are, like I said, in one of our discussion parts, I've said that, I prefer the term metabolic medicine because obesity, as we see it, is only a symptom of a problem in your metabolism, which you probably have seen from what we have discussed so far. So the issue is not just about the weight. There are a lot of things going on in the body. For example, somebody may say, I'm not eating much, right? But I'm adding weight. But the person does not understand that he or she has been under a lot of stress. Now, if you are under stress, yes, if you are undergoing chronic stress, how the body responds is by producing stress hormones, one of which is cortisol. Now, what cortisol does is to mobilize, is to encourage accumulation of fat in your abdomen. Because what happens is that it thinks that you are under you are faced with danger. So because what it's supposed to do was to produce energy for your body, increase sugar, and keep your muscles active so that you are able to either defend yourself against the danger or run away. But because you are not in real danger, all those elements that have been mobilized will just be converted into fat and stored in your abdomen.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, if you do not sleep properly, we say people should sleep a minimum of 6 hours. Sorry?
You said 8 hours.
So between 6 and 9 hours.
Okay.
Right? So minimum of 6, but not beyond 9 hours.
Okay.
Now, but oftentimes you hear people say, I can sleep for 4 hours, nothing will happen.
Yeah,
nothing will happen to you immediately, but you are exposing your body to stress. That is what happens, because when you sleep, there are 5 phases that you go through during sleep. And in each of those phases, something specific happens in your body. When you do not go through those phases, what happens is that your body experiences stress and it produces stress hormone, one of which is cortisol, and then we go back to this issue that we're talking about. So when we burn energy in certain graphs, 1, 2, 3, 4 ways that we burn energy. One is your basal metabolic rate, which is the amount of energy that you burn to keep you alive. We call that basal metabolic rate. We have the amount of energy that you spend for your day-to-day activity that we call non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Now, we have the amount of energy that you burn when you eat food, the amount of energy that is required to digest, metabolize the food and change and transport it to where it needs to go to. And then we have the energy that you burn when you do exercise that we call activity thermogenesis. Now, for somebody who says that he or she is not eating much, but is adding weight.
Exactly.
The quantity of food that you are eating may just be more than what your body is designed to deal with by virtue of how much energy that you burn. Now, I've talked about basal metabolic rate. So some people have what we call slow metabolism, right? So some people have a high metabolism. I'm sure you also have heard of people who say, they eat plenty, but they don't add weight.
It's
so
true.
These people are just able to burn whatever energy that they are consuming, right? And then how active are you throughout the day? How much exercise do you do? So those that are, there's really no one size fits all. So that is why when you talk about managing obesity, it is an individualized thing, because you need to sit down with the person, go through, all the different phases or facets of the person's life, ask thorough questions, and then you'll be able to figure out where you're coming from. And then you can design something that is specific for that individual.
Fantastic. Wow, Dr. Osabon here, you've really enlightened us when it comes to issues of, challenges of tackling obesity and, healthy living, which is very important. Thank you so much, Dr. Osabon here, Matthew Okon. He is a public health researcher, health content creator, and of course, member of WHO Fitness Network of Health Influencers, and of course, a metabolic medicine practitioner. Thank you so much for being a part of Health Guide. We really appreciate your will and of course your knowledge in which you have shared this particular topic with us. Now, to wrap it up, obesity is a growing health concern that affects people of all ages around the world. It can lead to serious physical and emotional problems if not managed properly. And of course, Dr. Matthew Osabon has broken it down to us. However, with healthy eating habits, regular exercise, and support from family and friends, obesity can be prevented and controlled. Promoting awareness and encouraging healthy lifestyles are key steps towards building a healthier future for everyone. Thank you all so much for being a part of the program Insights. And of course, Dr. Osabon here, Matthew Okon, a public health researcher, health content creator, member of WHO Fitness Network of Health Influencers, and a metabolic medicine practitioner. Thank you once again, sir, for being a part of the program. I am Jumai Manson. Have an amazing day ahead. Bye-bye.
Stay informed, stay healthy, stay empowered.